You good?
What is happening, everybody? Back for another Technique Tuesday. So this week, one thing that I'm going to go through is we're going to talk about hip rotation. So when I talk about hip rotation, we're talking about actually being able to internally and externally rotate that hip. And there's an exercise or a sequence of exercises that I take my clients through if they struggle with hip rotation. Now, for me personally, my hip rotation has been one of those things that I have struggled with, and it's something that I'm always trying to improve. For me, doing a sport like jiu-jitsu, hip rotation is super important. So one exercise, which is a really simple exercise, which I use as a warm-up and also a cool-down for when I do jiu-jitsu, but can also be used for those of you that are maybe doing squats. So maybe you do struggle to get into the bottom of a good squat position. Maybe you struggle to get into a good deadlift position and you need to work on that rotation with your hips. But the way we're going to set up, we're going to be sitting on the floor. When we're sitting on the floor, what I want to do is I want to try and remain nice and upright, okay? So I want to keep everything locked down. So keep my abs engaged and keep my chest upright, not slumping into bad position. When I set up, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my legs at a 90-degree angle. So I'm looking for 90-degree angles all round. So from here, this leg's going to run in line with my torso, and then I'm going to have my shin 90 degrees to my quads. Over here, I've got my quad 90 degrees to my torso, and then that shin 90 degrees again. And from here, I'm going to do a sequence of 4 movements. So if you need to, place your hands nice and flat on the ground to make sure you keep that nice upright torso. But all I'm going to do from here, keeping this knee on the floor, is I'm just going to open this up. And I'll go 3 to 5 times opening this up, trying not to rotate when I do it, making sure I keep this knee down. 1, 2, 3, and then from there I'm going to move and have my feet nice and flat on the floor. And then moving to that same direction, I'm going to take my opposite leg, rotate in, try not to turn in as I do it, keeping both butt cheeks in contact with the floor. 1, 2, 3. The more upright I am, the more I'm going to have to work that rotation and that end range of motion. Once I've done the 3 times there, I'm then going to turn to the side, making sure I'm maintaining that 90-90-90 angle that I was talking about before, trying to keep both hips in contact with the floor, so keeping that butt on the ground. I'm going to open back up on that side. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to come back to the center, and I'm going to do that opposite leg. 1, 2, 3. And I'd probably go 3 to 5 times of that sequence all the way through. So again, those 90-degree angles, I'm going to work on this outside hip, going up. 1, 2, 3, to the center. 1, 2, 3, then to the outside, same thing. 1, 2, 3, and then moving back to the other direction. 1, 2, 3. So then I'd go ahead and I'd hit that 3 or 4 more times. So that's the first progression. From there, to start to speed it up and make it a little bit more dynamic, I think I can then start to move, trying to keep my torso nice and upright, moving from one position to the other. Okay, trying not to slump too much. I know I'm slumping here at the moment. Hips are a little bit tight, but hopefully you get the idea. I want to stay nice and upright, and I'm trying not to slide my butt on the ground as I do that. So this is a nice little progression that if you fail to get into a good squat position, driving those knees out, keeping that in a good position, you can do this as part of your warm-up before you then have to go and squat. Or if you've got a sport where you need really good hip rotation, you can add that into it. So give that a go. Let me know what you think. If you've got any comments, drop them below, or hit us up if you've got any questions. We'll see you next week.